Hi, I'm Mark Alexander. And this is a state of Libre Graphics. So I'll start off with a little introduction. In today's time, large corporations are turning towards software as a service, as we all know. And recently, you may have heard like Adobe upped their subscription. And so FOSS and so free and open source software is more important than ever. And Libre Graphics is taking a front stage in the digital art world. So I would like to just invite us to take a quick look at all the journeys of various FOSS projects here today and the light that they shine to show us a way out from the pit that is software as a service. So this is State of Libre Graphics. Yeah. Transition. So the first one that submitted was Blender. Blender is a community project coordinated by the Blender Foundation, primarily funded by donations. Its mission is to get the world's best 3D CG technology in the hands of artists as free and open source software. You can find out more at blender.org, the development blog at code.blender.org, and elsewhere on blender.org. Here are the ongoing projects. These are projects aimed at Blender 4.5 in July or 5.0 later this year. On top of this, there's a lot of activity happening in the modules. Those are usually the entry point for community contributions. Yeah. And then they submitted a reel to showcase all the work that has happened in the past year. So I guess we'll play the reel. There we go. Nope, no volume, no audio. I say we tested this earlier, and no? I don't know if there's any audio. Well, if there's no audio, you can check out the QR code. That was great. No, yeah, I can show it without the audio. It is quite cool. I'm sure maybe you guys have heard of Flow. Great movie. So yeah, I won't bore you guys too much more with it, but lots of cool stuff. I do recommend checking out the QR code. Next, we have Friction. Friction is a powerful and versatile motion graphics application that allows you to create vector and raster animations for television and film, title sequences, commercials, and visual effects, web design, like animated logos, banners, and interactive elements, social media, like animated posts and stories, and presentations, like animated infographics and slideshows. You can find more on their website at friction.graphics. Since this is our first time on LGM, this is a short introduction to Friction instead of changelog. It was forked from AV in 2023 by Alejandro Rodley for use at work, and is currently used in production and education. Version 1.0 is currently in release candidate. It's coming out very soon. Release candidate 2 should be available before LGM 2025, and the final will be released sometime later this summer. It has a focus on animated SVG for the web, GPU-accelerated vector/raster pipeline, optimized for performance. It will run on low-end hardware, supports most audio and video formats through FFmpeg, supports JavaScript expressions and user presets, supports GL, SL, and path effects, and it runs on Linux, Windows, Mac OS, which is experimental, and is powered by Qt, Skia, and FFmpeg. Here's the roadmap. It says a new project file format, probably XML or SQLite, continued improvement of UI/UX, better SVG, CSS, and SMIL compatibility, better image format and layer support, will probably integrate OpenImageIO, improved general audio support and playback, addition of common NLE features. Say we want to include more NLE features, mostly timeline-related stuff, support disk cache for previews and renders, color management using OpenColorIO and/or LCMS, and integration with other applications like Inkscape or Kdenlive. Also, support for Android tablets, custom touch user interfaces for that, and the development of a funding strategy, as the project needs to find out a way to stay sustainable. Here's how it kind of looks like. You can find out more on their Mastodon, which is at floss.social/@friction, and their GitHub, which is at github.com/friction2d/friction, which you can find on the QR codes. Thanks a lot to Ale Andre for the slides. Oh, I forgot to mention, thank you to Dale for the slides for Blender. Sorry about that. Next up, we have Google Fonts. Google Fonts has commissioned thousands of LibreFont projects and support many Libre software projects at all levels of a tech stack. You can find more at fonts.google.com or their development blog at fonts.googleblog.com. And yeah. So yeah, that's the speaker notes don't really include that, but yeah, you can see like they have Scribus replace free type, and they're making very cool stuff in Rust. These are some new Libre fonts. They also have this more boring format thing spec going on, and WA-SUM fonts, which I don't really know what is, but yeah. Thank you so much to. Oh, they do have more. They do have more notes. There you go. Yeah, about 2 years ago, Harba's developer Behdad Asfad, sorry about mispronouncing that, started a boring expansion spec project that nearly completed the MPEG open font format standardization process thanks to help from a GIMP developer, Liam Quinn. There are 4 major updates to the font format here, and the most interesting is version 2 of our table. Lawrence Benny has made a nice LibreWeb tool for offering AVAR2 data called the Fencer. This table backs the visionary work by David Berlow and his team on 2 new fonts that are a quarter of a file size compared to the previous AVAR1 versions, Roberto Delta and Amstelvar. But incremental updates to the font format are ultimately kind of boring, and the most exciting work by Behdad has been to add a WA-SUM shaper to HarfBuzz. No other tech stack has implemented this yet, but the HarfBuzz GitHub has an examples repo with many wonderful explorations. Yeah, so thanks a lot to Dave Crossland for his slides. Next up, we have Drawpile. Drawpile is a collaborative drawing program. Lets multiple artists draw, sketch, paint, and animate together on the same canvas. I will point out that these slides were made in, like this part of the slides were made in Drawpile. And we had a blast making them together. Like we actually went online and collaborated on it, so it was very fun. You can find more on drawpile.net. So yeah, and those are like all the drawings that people stopped by and added to the slides. Yeah, I only drew the little one in the very corner. There's quite a bit. There you go. Come on, next slide. There we go. So the changelog, Drawpile version 2.2 is now out with many new features. Selections and transforms were rewritten to be more persistent and less fiddly. There are multi-layer operations like transform or moves, touch gestures like two-finger tap or undo, or tap and hold for a color picker, video exports for animation, improved fill, a magic wand, sketch mode for layers, and much, much, much more. Yeah. What's next? So a nonprofit company is getting founded to continue sustaining the project. Drawpile 2.3 is also in development with an alpha version ready for testing. It will bring spectral painting that has much more realistic color mixing, a marker brush mode that's also been ported to Krita, bigger brushes and canvas sizes, clipping groups for people used to that flavor of alpha preserve, a new canvas file format. Apparently there will be a talk about it on Friday, and again, yet much, much more that could not get included. You can find more about it by asking Karsten here at the conference, wherever, over there. And in his talk, 3,000 faster file saving with time travel on Friday. Thank you so much to Karsten for setting up the Drawpile and making the slides. And then thanks to Annoy, Aussie, Exocrat, Caesar, Demi, Denny, Geese, Hop, Marlon, Mel, Phoneme, and Vada, who also stopped by on the canvas and drew the little amazing little things much better than I could ever draw. So next up, we have MyPaint. MyPaint is a rasterized digital painting software that uses the GTK toolkit and an in-house brush engine adopted by several other softwares. From its inception, MyPaint was designed to be intuitive and simple to use, and is one of the most user-friendly floss painting applications currently available on desktop. It's currently in maintenance mode, apparently. The project's previous primary maintainer has stopped working on the project sometime in 2021. The current maintainer picked it up on this project in 2024 and is working on the project in her free time, usually around December-February period. With a year gap between developers, the current maintainer has primarily worked on housekeeping, triaging issues, updating documentation, reading through the code base, and fixing critical bugs. The current maintainer wishes to ensure that the code base is free from depreciated code and uses up-to-date libraries, so there's no large features planned for the foreseeable future, but this may change. Its maintenance targets improve cross-platform and multi-architecture support, particularly on macOS and ARM, support Wayland, ditch X11, and update the codebase to use the latest version of GTK 3, and then migrate to GTK 4. Oh, I forgot there was slides. Yeah, thanks a lot to Aizara for the slides. Yeah. Next up, we have Xournal++. Xournal++ is a free and cross-platform note-taking software that is fast, flexible, and functional. A modern rewrite and a more feature-rich version of a wonderful Xournal program. You can find more on their website at Xournal, pp.github.io, and also on their GitHub page. Here's the changelog. There have been 4 bug fix releases, 1.24 all the way to 1.27, improving user experience on various platforms and adding a macOS ARM build. The development version is based on 1.20 and includes the bug fixes from the 1.2 series and adds features towards 1.3. The roadmap, a lot of work has been going into developing a working GTK4 version of Xournal++. Alternative libraries for PDF exports like QPDF and Podofo allow preserving PDF features like annotations and forms. So yeah, thanks a lot to Roland for the slides. Next up is Scribus. Scribus is a desktop publishing application that lets you create professional page layouts for PDF files. Scribus 1.6 first released at the end of 2023. Final release 1.6.5 is planned in Q3 of 2025. It's the current stable release. It's still in Qt5, scripting with Python 3, support of PDF and X/4 and PDF 1.6, action search, launch commands with autocomplete, several new experimental features, first support for high DPI screens, first support for dark themes, first support for complex scripts like Arabic, Chinese, Hebrew, and Hindi, basic access to OpenType features, symbols, linked clones of items, footnotes and the weld feature, references, content palette with content-aware settings, basic import for Adobe IDML and Microsoft Pub files. The first 1.7 development preview has been released at the beginning of this year. It features Qt6, reworked most of the important parts of a UI, compact, intuitive, usable, coherent, nicer. Most panes can be docked at all time. Support for high DPI SVG icons. Support for dark themes. Style-based table of contents and indexing. Scripting covers most Scribus features, and scripts can be started from the menus or the action search. Saving to older file formats. Hundreds of new page size and presets. And custom rule definition for optical margins. Thanks a lot to Ale for the slides. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Next up, we have Inkscape. Inkscape is an open source vector editor working on the SVG standard. The project started in 2003 and is still in excellent health 21 years later, thanks to its very active community of users, contributors, and developers. New major versions are released every 1 or 2 years since 2019, with minor releases every 6 months or so. For the 2024-25 period, version 1.4 was released on October 2024, and the first update, 1.4.2, is available since May 2025. Some highlights on the work done for these. Inkscape improves the support of other vector file formats, enhanced PDF conversion. Inkscape now better handles affinity desire files, and vector nature and linearity. In the spirit of FOSS, we work to keep files editable after leaving proprietary or abandoned softwares. Tools. Shape Builder now handles direct bitmap picture clipping. A new modular grid to ease layouts works is now available, and more control on axonometric grids. The UI, a new font browser panel, including preview and collection management. Filters now have a gallery that should help to better understand their effect before applying them. The Object Properties panel can now also be used to modify the controls of special objects such as rectangles, ellipses, stars, etc., and is a first step towards a deeper reworking of a Properties panel. Great work were made around stability, with more than 200 bugs fixed since the last 1.3.2 version. The project, community, and infrastructure. There have been regular meetings for developers starting in May 2025. There's a new web server using Weblate where Inkscape can be translated online at translate.inkscape.org. Work started for a future version of Inkscape website, and Matrix is currently in test to replace Rocket.chat. For version 1.5 and beyond, in the next major version, a special focus will be on porting Inkscape on GTK4. A huge work is already done and still in progress on color profile support, a feature closely intertwined with the full PDF support. This year again, Inkscape takes part of the Google Summer of Code. As in 2024, the project also runs a bug fix accelerator paid program, sorry about that, to talk about some long-term problems. As mentioned earlier, a deep rework on the tab management and dialog is on the table. Optimize space side panels make object properties more context sensitive, more logic and fluid for newcomer and seasoned users. And by the way, just so you know, those slides were 100% made in Inkscape. And thanks a lot to M1981 and the rest of the Inkscape Vectors team. Next up, we have UpStage, who, of course, submitted a video made using UpStage, which we can watch, hopefully with sound this time.
Hi everyone, welcome to UpStage. We've been busy since we last presented at LGM. In 2021, we completely rebuilt UpStage. And in 2024, we celebrated 20 years of UpStage. And now, we're delighted to announce the release of UpStage v3.0.0. We've stabilized the audio-visual streaming tools, revamped and containerized the backend, and made many other enhancements and improved workflows for our artist users. Join us at the workshop to find out more.
So yeah, that's UpStage. Thank you to Helen for that wonderful video. So next up, if you wanted to take the wonderful UpStage that you've made and post it somewhere, you can check out Hyper 8 Video System. The Hyper 8 Video System was first released in May 2024. It allows building and publishing maintenance-free static video sites of any size, and is available for Windows, macOS, and Linux. You can find more about it at simonrep.com/hyper8. The three core aims of a project are independence. Enable publishing that's independent from big platforms or potentially fragile community infrastructure. Accessibility. Provide a system that is usable for the widest audience possible, especially to those without a professional background. And three, sustainability. Facilitate long-term availability of publications, especially in environments that are precarious in terms of financing, personal resources, or institutions involved. So at the present, Hyper 8 already offers a solid foundation for video publishing, including, for instance, support for subtitles, embeds, Atom, and RSS feeds, platform integration, theming, localization, and more. For the future, in the coming months, Hyper 8 will be extended with built-in FTP deployment, audio-only formats, transcripts, improved accessibility, refined design and layouts, and most importantly, full desktop integration of the application. You can find out more by asking Simon Rupp. He'll be giving a whirlwind tour of the project in his talk on Thursday. And thanks a lot to Simon for his slides. So next up, I kind of decided to group all the creative coding projects that submitted together. They're all very, very cool. So first up, we have p5.js. The p5.js is a friendly tool for learning to code and make art. It is free and open source JavaScript library built by an inclusive, nurturing community. p5.js welcomes artists, designers, beginners, educators, and anyone else. P5.js community shares an interest in exploring the creation of art and design with technology. We are a community of and in solidarity with people from every gender, identity, and expression, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, language, neurotype, size, disability, class, caste, religion, culture, subculture, immigration status, age, skill level, occupation, and background. We stand in solidarity with justice and liberation movements. We work to acknowledge, dismantle, and prevent barriers to access P5.js code and the P5.js community. At the 2019 Contributors Conference, P5.js made the commitment to only add new features that increase access, such as inclusion and accessibility. So the P5.js 2.0 changelog. This slide was made with P5.js 2.0. There are now more ways to interact with fonts like contours and 3D extrusion, read and draw variable fonts, handle mouse and touch events uniformly, work with more color spaces like the Oakland color space, write shaders in JavaScript, no GLSL needed, and load assets with async/await. For more links, you can find the full P5.js 2.0 reference is available at beta.p5.js.org, and there are more resources on that. Thanks a lot to Kit for the slide. Next up, if you want to learn a bit more about getting into coding, you can check out Processing. Processing is an open source programming environment designed to make coding accessible for artists, designers, students, and educators. Launched in 2001, it's a language, a minimal development environment, and a community that helps people learn how to code through visual and interactive projects. Today, it's used in classrooms to art studios for creative exploration, prototyping, and teaching programming fundamentals. Processing was originally created by Casey Rias and Ben Fry at the MIT lab. It is maintained by the Processing Foundation and the Processing community. Since early 2024, with support from the Processing Foundation, our two-person team resumed active development on processing. Our main challenge was to reconstruct knowledge of a code base without a formal handover from the previous maintainer. So here's the roadmap for processing. We do not include any speaker notes, but as you can see, there's like replace GeoGL and AWT, and official support for external editors. And of course, improved accessibility, onboarding, and contributor docs. All great stuff. Also very exciting from the processing project is the PR05 grant. This year will be the second edition of pronounced PROS apparently, my bad. Pros? Pros, okay. My bad. PROS, a grant and mentorship initiative by the Processing Foundation. This program supports the professional growth of early to mid-career software developers through hands-on involvement in open source projects. Applications are open until May 31st, 2025, so very soon. Learn more and apply at processingfoundation.org/grants. You can find Raphael de Corville and Steph Turvaldi, hopefully I pronounced that right there, if you want to learn more. And thanks a lot to Raphael for the slides. Next up, we have PraxisLIVE. PraxisLIVE is a hybrid visual live programming system, bringing aspects of Smalltalk, Erlang, and Extempore into the Java world. It has a history and particular focus on creative coding and graphics, with built-in support for working with processing, mentioned right before, GStreamer Video, and OpenGL. PraxisLIVE v6 was released in November 2024. LibP5X, the bundled processing distribution with alternative LWJGL renderer, was updated to processing v4. The live rewritable watch functions provide a new way to expose information about a running project. These currently support text, bitmaps, or SVG. We can show graphic inputs, highlight state, plot data, and more. This is part of an ongoing focus on the moldability of a system. PraxisLIVE v6 has enhanced support for working with libraries, defining base components, and passing any data types around the actor graph. Resolve and use any JVM libraries in your projects. For example, this slide shows an simple base project providing a live recodable node graph for our OpenRNDR. Thanks a lot to Neil for the slides. Speaking of OpenRNDR, playful for prototypes, serious for production is their motto. You can find more at openrndr.org. OpenRNDR is a feature-rich FOSS framework for creative coding and real-time interaction. It runs on Linux, Windows, Mac, and in the browser. Built with Kotlin, GLSL, and Gradle. It is modular, featuring 319 packages in Maven Central. Open sourced in 2018, and over 900 commits since May 2024. Its changelog. Support Apple ARM64 CPU via GLES, and Angle. sRGB textures by default. Added F-curves. Added a mathematical string expression evaluator. New shader features, clipping, composition, gradients, image fills, noise, and patterns. And here's its roadmap. Release OpenRNDR/ORX on 0.4.5, a web GPU backend, and ORX-Xedraw. You can find more by finding Abe, who is around here, right there, and who has a talk on Saturday. Thanks a lot to Abe for the slides. Next up, we had a bunch of submissions from KDE, and so I kind of decided to group them together. Special thanks to Paul Brown for helping me find the right people to contact at KDE. So first off, we have KDE Plasma. KDE Plasma is obviously the desktop environment for Linux, which I'm actually running right now. Plasma 6.3 released earlier this year, and the Plasma 6.4 release will be in June, both coming with a bunch of improvements in tablet and graphic support. So it has now improved tablet settings, completely overhauled the tablet settings page. Customizing the stylus pressure curve is now possible. Allow rebinding stylus buttons to other stylus buttons. Ability to map a portion of a tablet to an area on the screen. It also features more color management features. Added support for upstream Wayland color management and color representation protocols, so apps can actually make use of HDR. Improved accuracy of nightlight by making it properly color managed and also making it look better. Implemented tone mapping for HDR content. Added support for outputting up to 16 bits per color. Improved efficiency a lot when HDR is enabled or an ICC profile is used. It also now features a built-in HDR calibration tool. Some HDR displays don't provide brightness information or even provide incorrect information. The calibration tool allows you to configure peak brightness and overall brightness levels. And also HDR on quote-unquote SDR laptop displays. By dynamically adjusting the backlight and adjusting software brightness mapping to match, viewing HDR content on normal laptop displays has become amazing. For future plans, support for tablet dials, nicely integrated display profiling application, more hardware offloading of color management operations for better performance and efficiency, and HDR support in Qt. Thanks so much to Xavier, or also called Zamunda, I think, for the slides. Next up, we have Krita. Krita is the digital painting application used by millions of people all over the world. Krita runs on Linux, Windows, macOS, Android, and Chrome OS. We're working on Krita 6.0, which will run on Qt 6. Technically, that's a big challenge, but it builds and works. We're also prototyping a touch device-friendly user interface for tablets and phones. In the past 5 years, there have been numerous improvements, rewrites, and ports from Qt 5 and Qt 6. Of these, the new text objects with on-canvas editing and OpenType support is one of the biggest, but the resource system got rewritten, and there have been performance improvements and lots of bug fixes. And thanks so much to Hala for the slides. Next up, we have Kdenlive. Kdenlive is a powerful video editor made by the KDE community. You can find more about it at kdenlive.org. Kdenlive has had 4 major releases in the last year, followed by monthly bug fix releases. 24.05 is the first release after the Qt6 upgrade. It re-implements the audio capture feature and focuses on enhancing stability while introducing a few exciting new features like group effects and automatic subtitle translations. 24.08 came with new features, enhancements, and quality of life improvements, especially for effects and transitions. It also came with numerous crashes and glitches that have been addressed, including issues with audio capture, effect zones, high DPI display rendering, and subtitle editing. 25.04 is the latest and most stable Kdenlive release and is a great foundation for upcoming new features. For the roadmap, Kdenlive has gotten two new developers to the team. They also participate in a season of KDE mentorship program and have an upcoming Google Summer of Code project. The team is planning a sprint and community meeting in Berlin in September during Academy. Short and midterm roadmap features include that. Thanks a lot to FRDBR for the slides. Next up, we have Glaxnimate. Glaxnimate is an open source animation editor focused on vector graphics. You can find more about them at glaxnimate.org. Some ongoing projects, integrating with KDE frameworks, working on the standardization of the Lottie format, and polishing for the next major release. Thanks a lot to Mattia Basaglia, hopefully I didn't pronounce that too wrong, for the slides. Last and finally, I wanted to include GIMP, of course. I think they mentioned last year that they were aiming to put out their 3.0 release for the LGM last year, but that didn't quite happen. But we're so happy to see that they finally made it to 3.0. So here's GIMP, community-free software for photo retouching, image composition, and image offering. That's the splash screen. So yeah, big news. GIMP 3.0 has released. There's now a GTK-free port, color management improvements, non-destructive layer effects, auto-expanding layers, built-in text outline options, better support for image and palette formats, and the new Wilbur logo, which looks amazing. They've gotten better at organizing themselves, closer partnerships with the GNOME Foundation, developer grants, UX/UI design team, and issue tracker, and changes to development and release schedules. There should be more releases coming up soon. The GIMP 3.2 development is already underway. Faster development schedule, non-destructive layers, linked layers, and vector layers. There's many more features in progress, and new GSOC projects, such as text editor improvements, filter browser, and the extensions website. So that is all of the projects. So as evidenced by GIMP, who managed to get themselves out of a 2.0 release schedule and into 3.0, open source projects can only go forward as they're open source, as anyone can always contribute. This presentation was created by 20 different projects who all submitted on the GitHub. So I'd like to quickly thank all of the contributors, again, who submitted their slides. Thanks again also to Lasse, wherever he is, right there, for allowing me to do this awesome presentation. and to all the developers, contributors, and users, which are you. So enjoy the conference, explore what Libre Graphics has to offer to you, and what you have to offer to Libre Graphics. After all, we are all on a journey forward in this community to beat all the wonderful things that is happening outside, like Adobe making up subscription hikes. And together these next few days in the Libre Graphics community, enjoy the conference. Thank you so much.